We are reading the book of Proverbs, written by King Solomon, who was David's son. This book has a lot of wisdom. It gives practical suggestions for our day-to-day lives. We will be reading 2 to 3 chapters per episode, once a week. Today, we continue with reading Proverbs chapter 5, 6, and 7. Check out the previous episodes. I will be reading from the World English Bible, but feel free to follow along in whatever Bible version you prefer. The World English Bible sometimes refers to God as Yahweh. Proverbs chapter 5. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Turn your ear to my understanding, that you may maintain discretion, that your lips may preserve knowledge. For the lips of an adulteress drip honey. Her mouth is smoother than oil, but in the end she is as bitter as wormwood, and as sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to Sheol. She gives no thought to the way of life. Her ways are crooked, and she doesn't know it. Now therefore, my sons, listen to me. Don't depart from the words of my mouth. Remove your way far from her. Don't come near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others, and your ears to the cruel one. Lest strangers feast on your wealth, and your labors enrich another man's house. You will groan at your latter end, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and say, how I have hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof. I haven't obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor turned my ear to those who instructed me. I have come to the brink of utter ruin among the gathered assembly. Drink water out of your own cistern, running water out of your own well. Should your springs overflow in the streets? Streams of water in the public squares? Let them be for yourself alone, not for strangers with you. Let your spring be blessed. Rejoice in the wife of your youth, a loving doe and a graceful deer. Let her breasts satisfy you at all times. Be captivated always with her love. For why should you, my son, be captivated with an adulteress? Why embrace the bosom of another? For the ways of man are before Yahweh's eyes. He examines all his paths. The evil deeds of the wicked ensnare him. The cords of his sin hold him firmly. He will die for lack of instruction. In the greatness of his folly, he will go astray. Proverbs chapter 6. My son, if you have become collateral for your neighbor, if you have struck your hands in pledge for a stranger, you are trapped by the words of your own mouth. You are ensnared with the words of your mouth. Do this now, my son, and deliver yourself. Since you have come into the hand of your neighbor, go, humble yourself, press your plea with your neighbor. Give no sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Free yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, like a bird from the snare of the fowler. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise, which having no chief, overseer, or ruler, provides her bread in the summer, and gathers her food in the harvest. How long will you sleep, sluggard? When will you arise out of your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So your poverty will come as a robber, and your scarcity as an armed man. A worthless person, a man of iniquity, is he who walks with a perverse mouth, who winks with his eyes, who signals with his feet, who motions with his fingers, in whose heart is perverseness, who devises evil continually, who always sows discord. Therefore, his calamity will come suddenly. He will be broken suddenly, and that without remedy. There are 6 things which Yahweh hates, yes, 7 which are an abomination to him: arrogant eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are swift in running to mischief, a false witness who utters lies, and he who sows discord among brothers. My son, keep your father's commandment, and don't forsake your mother's teaching. Bind them continually on your heart. Tie them around your neck. When you walk, it will lead you. When you sleep, it will watch over you. When you awake, it will talk with you. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light. Reproofs of instruction are the way of life, to keep you from the immoral woman, from the flattery of the wayward wife's tongue. Don't lust after her beauty in your heart, neither let her captivate you with her eyelids, for a prostitute reduces you to a piece of bread. The adulteress, hands for your precious life. Can a man scoop fire into his lap and his clothes not be burnt? Or can one walk on hot coals and his feet not be scorched? So is he who goes into his neighbor's wife. Whoever touches her will not be unpunished. Men, don't despise a thief if he steals to satisfy himself when he is hungry. But if he is found, he shall restore 7 times. He shall give all the wealth of his house. He who commits adultery with a woman is void of understanding. He who does it destroys his own soul. He will get wounds and dishonor. His reproach will not be wiped away. For jealousy arouses the fury of the husband. He won't spare in the day of vengeance. He won't regard any ransom. Neither will he rest content, though you give many gifts. Proverbs chapter 7. My son, keep my words. Lay up my commandments within you. Keep my commandments and live. Guard my teaching as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Tell wisdom, you are my sister. Call understanding your relative, that they may keep you from the strange woman, from the foreigner who flatters with her words. For at a window of my house, I looked out through my lattice. I saw among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths, a young man, void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner. He went by the way to her house, in the twilight, in the evening of the day, in the middle of the night, and in the darkness. Behold, there a woman met him with the attire of a prostitute, and with crafty intent. She is loud and defiant. Her feet don't stay in her house. Now she is in the streets, now in the squares, and lurking at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him. With an impudent face, she said to him, Sacrifices of peace offerings are with me. Today I have paid my vows. Therefore, I come out to meet you, to diligently seek your face, and I have found you. I have spread my couch with carpets of tapestry, with striped cloths of the yarn of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let's take our fill of loving until the morning. Let's solace ourselves with loving. For my husband isn't at home. He has gone on a long journey. He has taken a bag of money with him. He will come home at the full moon. With persuasive words she led him astray. With the flattering of her lips she seduced him. He followed her immediately, as an ox goes to the slaughter, as a fool stepping into a noose, until an arrow strikes through his liver, as a bird hurries to the snare, and doesn't know that it will cost his life. Now therefore, sons, listen to me. Pay attention to the words of my mouth. Don't let your heart turn to her ways. Don't go astray in her paths. For she has thrown down many wounded. Yes, all her slain are a mighty army. Her house is the way to Sheol, going down to the rooms of death. Overview of Proverbs chapters 5, 6, and 7. Proverbs chapters 5, 6, and 7 are a compilation of wise teachings on the importance of walking in wisdom. Proverbs chapter 5 particularly emphasizes the need to avoid unfaithfulness in marriage, as it can lead to dire consequences such as shame and destruction. The chapter encourages faithfulness by highlighting the beauty and blessings that come with a loving and committed marriage. In Proverbs chapter 6, we learn about avoiding foolishness by being diligent in our pursuits. The chapter warns against laziness and procrastination, urging us to work hard and be wise stewards of our time, resources, and relationships. It also highlights the consequences of not paying attention to this warning. Proverbs chapter 7 is an appeal to young men to stay away from immoral women who seek to entice them into sin. The chapter provides a vivid illustration of how flattery can lead one astray if not careful. It reminds us that wisdom is not only about avoiding what is wrong, but also embracing what is right through obedience to God's word. I want to highlight a few themes I see from Proverbs chapters 5, 6, and 7. 1. The dangers of adultery. Adultery is a dangerous act that can destroy families and ruin lives. Proverbs chapters 5, 6, and 7 give us some valuable insights into the dangers of this sin. Solomon warns against immoral women who lure men into their traps with seductive words and gestures. He reminds us that the price of adultery is high, both in terms of its immediate consequences and its long-term effects on our souls. One danger of adultery is the risk of physical harm. Solomon warns that an adulterous relationship can lead to disease, injury, or even death. Moreover, he highlights the emotional pain it causes, as it damages one's self-esteem and creates feelings of guilt and shame. Another danger is societal rejection. Once discovered by friends or family members, an adulterer may lose their respect or admiration forever. Ultimately, we must remember that God hates adultery because it disregards His commandments for faithfulness in marriage. May we learn from these proverbs and avoid falling into such a trap, which could have severe implications on our life journey. 2. Seeking wisdom and avoiding temptation. Proverbs chapters 5, 6, and 7 are filled with wise advice on avoiding temptation and seeking wisdom. These chapters speak about the dangers of adultery and how it can destroy a person's life. In Proverbs chapter 6, we learn that we are to apply wisdom to our daily lives in dealing with others. We are reminded that laziness can lead us down a dangerous path that ultimately leads to poverty. The chapter emphasizes the importance of hard work and diligence. Proverbs chapters 5, 6, and 7 teach us that seeking wisdom is crucial in navigating through life's challenges, while avoiding temptation is essential for our well-being. By following this advice from Proverbs chapters 5 to 7, one can build a solid foundation for a successful life, both personally and professionally. 3. Importance of self-control. Self-control is an essential characteristic that can help individuals achieve their goals and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Proverbs chapter 5 highlights the importance of self-control when it comes to sexual temptation. The chapter emphasizes the need for married individuals to remain faithful and avoid engaging in extramarital affairs. This requires self-control, discipline, and a deep sense of commitment to one's spouse. Proverbs chapter 6 expands on the concept of self-control by highlighting the dangers of laziness and procrastination. The chapter urges individuals to take responsibility for their actions, work hard, and avoid being idle or complacent. These virtues require significant levels of self-discipline, patience, and perseverance. Finally, Proverbs chapter 7 stresses the importance of avoiding immoral behavior by exercising self-control over one's desires and emotions. This chapter describes how a young man falls prey to a seductive woman because he lacks discretion and fails to exercise restraint over his impulses. In conclusion, practicing self-control is crucial in various aspects of life, whether it is resisting temptation or staying focused on our goals. Cultivating this virtue can lead to greater success, happiness, and fulfillment in life. 4. The consequences of giving into temptation. Proverbs chapters 5, 6, and 7 contain warnings against giving into temptation. While it may seem like an easy way out in the moment, the long-term consequences can be devastating. In chapter 5, Solomon warns against committing adultery as it can lead to a loss of honor and wealth. Not only that, but it can also lead to physical harm and disease. Similarly, in chapter 6, we are reminded of the consequences of laziness and procrastination. Giving into these temptations may provide short-term relief or pleasure, but ultimately leads to missed opportunities and regret. Solomon emphasizes the importance of taking action now instead of waiting until tomorrow. In Proverbs chapter 7, we see the dangers of giving into seduction and smooth talk. While it may seem exciting at first, these relationships often end in heartbreak and pain. Solomon reminds us that true love is built on trust and faithfulness, rather than fleeting pleasures. Giving into temptation may seem like an easy escape from reality, but ultimately leads to negative consequences. Proverbs chapters 5 to 7 serve as a reminder to stay focused on our goals and values, even when faced with temptation. 5. Trusting in God's guidance. Trusting in God's guidance is a theme that resonates throughout the book of Proverbs. In chapters 5, 6, and 7, we learn about the dangers of temptation and the importance of seeking wisdom from God to make good decisions in life. We should trust in God's guidance and seek His direction in all areas of our lives. In chapter 6, verses 20 to 23, we are reminded to keep God's commands close to our hearts and to meditate on them day and night. By doing so, we will be able to discern right from wrong and avoid temptation. In chapter 7, verses 1 to 3, Solomon emphasizes the importance of keeping God's wisdom and understanding close at hand, like a treasure that can guide us through life. Ultimately, trusting in God's guidance requires faith that He knows what is best for us, even when it may not be what we want or expect. By seeking His will through prayer and studying His word, we can have confidence that He will guide us towards paths that lead to righteousness and fulfillment. Applying these lessons to our daily lives. Incorporating lessons from Proverbs chapters 5, 6, and 7 into our daily lives requires intentionality and discipline. We need to cultivate a habit of seeking God's guidance through prayer and meditation on His word. Additionally, applying these lessons involves being mindful of the company we keep and the path we choose to follow. We must be intentional about surrounding ourselves with those who will uplift us spiritually mentally, and emotionally, while avoiding people who may lead us astray. Ultimately, applying these lessons to our daily lives requires consistent effort. It means making a conscious decision to live a life that honors God in all that we do. By doing so, we will experience the blessings that come with living a life rooted in wisdom and righteousness. We will continue from Proverbs chapter 8 in the next episode. God bless you. Bye.